Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and that is my 12-year-old talking when he knows he's not supposed to. Okay, so what we got here is Robinhood launches ETH and SOL staking for U.S. customers, and if you remember, iTrustCapital just released Solana staking, and we're hearing whispers from everywhere, not about iTrustCapital, but in general about XRP yield coming. As I've told you many times, iTrustCapital is my partner. I have IRAs and I have a premium custody account there. You can go to iTrustCapital/XRP Army if you too would like to sleep well like I do now and get free institutional custody with these guys. They use Fireblocks, I think it's Coinbase Prime, and also Fidelity custody for holding your crypto assets. All they have is a 1% trading fee. It is awesome. I've been with them since 2018-19. Never worried about my crypto once I put it there. They also, in their premium custody account, they have the closed loop system, crypto and CAT and USD in, but only USD out. This is like the greatest barrier to preventing your XRP or crypto from being stolen by hackers. Just go out there and look. When you read about all these hacks and all this stuff, it's always crypto they're sending out. And then they send it through all these washing machines like Tornado Cash and all this. Not without my iTrustCapital account. Okay, so we're having a recovery here, somewhat of a recovery from the crash yesterday. Chad Steingarter says XRP open interest is still up at all-time highs with 10.7 billion. We're going up. There's no question in my mind about that. The market is now at 3.86 trillion. Crypto market cap hovered around 3.93 trillion, marking the third attempt in 4 weeks to break 4 trillion milestone. And the altcoin rally also seemed to have stalled. That, by the way, was my 19-year-old who's also making noise, even though he's trained to know that when I'm doing a video not to come in and start making noise. But my kids, even now, love to fight. That's part of it. Okay. This is the kind of perspective that you need today.
A raft of insane news, and I know what you're thinking. All this good news is coming out. Why is the price going down? Because it is, because somebody's selling, because leverage is flushing. This is a baby move, man. This is a baby move. Let's keep things in perspective. What's been happening over the last few weeks? Goodness gracious, we need a few red days. Can't have the green days without a few good red days, all right, guys? We're in an uptrend. We're in a bull market. Just keep perspective here. Look at this insane news. This stuff just breaks my effing brain. If any of this stuff, again, had happened back in 2017, everybody would lose their effing minds. Now it's like a footnote. Coinbase partners with PNC, seventh largest U.S. bank, to let 9 million customers buy, sell, and hold crypto directly in their accounts. That feels impactful, doesn't it? Goldman Sachs, Bank of New York Mellon, launched tokenized money market funds on the blockchain, targeting the $7.1 trillion industry with backing from BlackRock and Fidelity. More real-world assets coming on chain. Tokenized money market funds coming to the blockchain near you. $4.3 trillion JP Morgan planning to offer crypto-backed loans with Bitcoin and Ethereum as collateral. It's happening, man. It's happening.
This is the stuff we need to be looking at. Look at this Fed shock incoming. You can feel the pressure being applied to Jerome Powell to lower interest rates, and if that happens, crypto goes absolutely nuts. He's heading to the Fed today. Rumors say Powell could be fired, a major shakeup happening. At the same time, you've got this from Treasury Secretary.
Well, so what do you talk about? I know you see him once a week. Do you see him for breakfast, Powell?
Yeah, and we talk about exactly this. We're not seeing inflation. When are you gonna say, Uncle? When will we know? And we talk about the overall economy. What we're seeing. We talk about the international economy.
Well, what's his personality like? I think a lot of people don't really know. Is he pleasant? Does he seem angry or upset or
No,
annoyed?
I mean, he's pleasant. He's dutiful. He's been doing this a long time.
It was Trump's pick.
He was. But again, that's the problem with a lot of these jobs. It could happen at Treasury. I don't think it's happened to me, but a lot of DC jobs, the building takes over the person.
Let me translate. The deep state gets its tentacles into these people. And then on top of that, Powell's being sued now.
Welcome back. Now there's XRP filing a lawsuit today against Federal Reserve Chairman Jay Powell, alleging that the central bank is violating transparency law. The suit in part says this: XRP believes the Federal Reserve is violating federal transparency law, and we are asking a federal judge to immediately block next week's Federal Reserve meeting from happening behind closed doors. XRP is demanding the court order that the Fed to keep the meeting open as the company sounds the alarm on recent policy decisions, saying XRP is deeply concerned that the FOMC under Chairman Powell is maintaining high interest rates to undermine President Donald J. Trump and his economic agenda. Joining me now is the CEO himself, XRP CEO James Fishback. James, thanks very much for being here. So you think this is all political?
I do, Maria. Good morning. The truth of the matter is that inflation is now at a 4-year low under President Trump's leadership. 5 consecutive better than expected, lower than expected inflation readings. And the Federal Reserve refuses to lower rates from a 20-year high. That is a life-altering decision that affects Americans all over the country. They can't get a mortgage. They can't get a home. They can't start or grow their family. XRP is now suing Jerome Powell in federal court this morning to demand that next week's meeting be open to public observation as federal transparency law requires.
Well, I mean, they always have meetings behind closed doors. So this meeting next week is no different than any other meetings, though.
Well, the fact of the matter is, the fact that they've always broken the law does not excuse them from breaking the law. There's a couple Supreme Court precedents that have moved in our favor, specifically the overturning of the Chevron doctrine. But I got to tell you the truth, Maria. Americans are frustrated. They do not understand why Jerome Powell is being too late. They don't understand that despite inflation being at a 4-year low, that the Federal Reserve is refusing to lower rates. And so the public, XRP, the President of the United States, can't even know why the Federal Reserve is not acting in accordance with the data. And so the only thing that can be done here is for a federal judge to step in, to issue a temporary restraining order against Jerome Powell and to block.
The Federal Reserve has been holding this country hostage ever since its creation. And I'll remind you, the representatives of the 5 or plus wealthiest families were deployed on separate train cars to Jekyll Island way back then. And they created the plan for the Federal Reserve in a room in Jekyll Island, Georgia, my state, back then. And when they did that, they did it in secret, and then they took it to Congress to make it look like it was Congress's idea for the people in all of this. And ever since then, and all it was to create a monopoly on money in the United States. And ever since then, they've been holding us all under their thumb for all these years. And it's all coming to a head right now. And when it does, make no mistake, crypto is going to blast off. And here's Trump talking about what cryptocurrency represents.
Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years.
You mean like the Federal Reserve?
Out of date. You know that Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are
payments. Who does that?
Costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that 2 years after?
Yes, sir. Who would have thought? Then we've got BlackRock saying de-dollarization is driving central banks to diversify and consider Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. Now, this is another one that you could see happen here in short order. $12.5 trillion BlackRock says de-dollarization causes central banks to shift to other currencies and alternative assets such as gold with consideration for Bitcoin. I believe you're not only going to get the rates lowered, but you're going to find out that these central banks have decided to accumulate cryptocurrencies, and I believe XRP will be one of them. Bitcoin bull case looks stronger as traders price in more Fed cuts in 2026. Treasury yields point to continued fiscal splurge. However, yield differentials suggest JPY strength ahead, which could cause market jitters. And then we've got this from Dom. My thoughts on XRP versus Bitcoin and Ethereum highlighted. Too pricey expert says XRP beats Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. According to EZA co-founder Dom Kwok, the highest cost of Bitcoin and Ethereum is pushing newcomers towards cheaper tokens. He says that when a single Bitcoin hits 6 figures, it feels out of reach. XRP, by comparison, offers big league standing without the sticker shock. That mix of affordability and credibility is drawing a wave of small buyers. This is kind of how I got here. I bought Bitcoin way back when, and I was like, sat there for a minute. I said, wait a minute. When I send this thing, it takes all these weird confirmations. It takes forever to send. But when I send this XRP thing, it's fast, it's cheap, and at the same time, it has the scarcity of Bitcoin. I later found out it was deflationary too, and the transactions are burned on each transaction, or XRP's burned on every transaction, making it deflationary, which is better than Bitcoin's scarcity. Nothing about Bitcoin makes sense versus XRP. And I believe in not just retail, but institutional investors will realize that, and it will make all the difference. Okay, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com, the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click join right below any of these YouTube videos, or you can hit subscribe through X to join as well. I'm the digital asset. Oh, in the group, we're going to talk about planning, because this is the kind of stuff I'm working on myself. What is it? You know, all these ups and downs mean nothing to me, but what's important is planning for what I know is coming, and planning for your family, planning, you know. Anyway, we're going to go over that and the types of things that I'm thinking about. I'm not worried about all these ups and downs. What I'm thinking about is how to be strategic for my portfolio and my family. Here we go.